So I've got your vocal here, and I'm showing you the flex time that I'm doing. So flex time is the first thing it does is it generates these little grab bars everywhere. You can see them, the light gray ones. This is an untouched, um, untouched. I haven't done anything with it, but it highlights every time you hit a note. It's guessing, but it's pretty good at guessing. If you don't like where it put the grab bar, like no, that was my S, not my vowel sound. Fine, move it over. Just ignore the one that's there and create your own. That's fine. So once the grab bars are there, if you look what happens, I can take a note and move it over, move it earlier, move it later. Undo. If you noticed, when I moved it, it dragged everything after it with it, and then it dragged everything before it also. So it tends to squish or stretch everything in both directions. Um, if you don't want that, I'd want to move just this note. I don't want to move the other ones. Fine, just lock in the other lines like that, so they won't move anymore. And then you can take this one and move it all you want, and it literally stretches and squeezes your audio so that the timing suits what you want. This phrase, I am going to. Oh, and another good thing to do if you have silences between lines is just go ahead and cut, like, boom, make it two different clips, so that when you do move things over, stretch, it doesn't affect the line after it. You don't have to do that. You can just go over and lock this line if you want, or lock it here. It's totally up to you. But I like to separate them so they have autonomy. So let's listen to this uh, clip here. I'm going to undo all the little moves that I made. We'll listen to it on its own. So somebody likes to sing on top of the beat, quite ahead. You can even see where the grab bars are and how they line up with the grid lines of the time bar up ahead. So you're a little on the nervous edge of singing because you haven't listened to enough R&B and soul. Haha, just kidding. I sing as white as any of them. So I'm going to put all my little moves over. It doesn't look like I moved very much, but when you listen to it now, it sits nice in the pocket and it's a little more relaxed. I think the me is still a little early. Yeah, so that's a tiny that's the me. It's a blur here. There's a so the sound continues. There's no obvious where the note starts. So I just kind of put a line in the sort of in the later part of the so I move it over a little bit. It's not always going to be the beginning of the next lump. It's going to be the somewhere in there. Sometimes it's a nice clear obvious, like if you go pop goes the weasel, pop is going to be nice and clear. Okay, let's listen to it now. I'm listening for that me. And now it doesn't sound that good because I've stretched it. I'm not sure what happened. Let's check it out again. You have new mercies for me every day. Yeah, so we're hearing some lumpiness, and that's what happens with time stretching. You're taking your life in your hands. It's not always going to be super work. It's not always going to work great. It's going to sometimes it's going to go and you get a bit of a warbling sound. There's ways around that. You can try to fix it. I think, first of all, do I like the timing? Is it worth fixing? Yeah, I do like the timing. So let's see if I can. So right in there, there's a bunch of garbage. Can I get rid of this one? Because this is the bar that's causing the lumping, and it's a long stretch of a note. It's generally, I know there's a new word in there, but I'm going to take this bar out and see what happens. So it's better. The me is definitely hurting though. See, I pushed it out. When I undid it, you saw how far to the left it moved. So now it's good, but it's ahead of the beat. So there's not a lot I can do. I don't think I'm going to be able to fix that one. Again, the better the performance, the easier the editing is. That one came out good. I'll just have to live with it. Obviously, I'm living in a realm where my ears are super hypersensitive to this kind of stuff, and it unnerves me if I hear anybody out of the pocket. Uh, Also, I know that singing behind the beat and playing behind the beat can be really effective, especially guitar solos, sax. vocals, anything melodic, it's very soulful to have a little bit relaxed and behind the beat. So you may have sung it bang on or even a little ahead. I can actually move you back a little bit and make you sound like you have soul, which I have done from time to time. Okay, so while we're here, let's. I have to finish editing this vocal, like what I'm doing now, before I can tune it. And the reason is, the tuning locks in pitch adjustments at certain points in time in during the track. It's got its own clock that syncs with the clock of Logic. It uses a third-party app that installs in the background, and it's yeah. So if you tune a note and then go move it left or right, it's not going to work right. It's going to drop the pitch, or it's going to make the pitch adjustment at the wrong point in the note. So it's not going to work. It's going to be all off. So you have to listen and suffer through the out of tune vocal while you do your editing, and make sure you're listening to the timing of the editing, not the tuning of the editing. The tuning is bothersome to listen to, but you have to put up with it in order to get the timing right, and then you can go fix the tuning. So let's tune this note. All right, so we can see this here. This is a great tuner because it preserves your squiggles. So your nice old man quiver is there. Now you can see the green lines are where the tuner has brought you to bring you in tune. This is a chromatic tuner, so it's, it will allow wrong notes if that's what you really came close to singing. The orange line is where you actually sang. So you can see the orange line, like right here, you were quite sharp, and it brought you down more in line. But the thing is, it doesn't do a hard shelf tuning like Cher, the whole Cher thing. It preserves your squiggles, and that's really nice. So that allows it to still sound like you. It's just like, okay, this is the line he's saying, and even if you zoom right in here, you could see even with this one curve, you were sharper, but it said, no, that one we're going to try to tame even more. Look at this one over here. The word day, every day, you were quite sharp, and it shows you the remnants of what you tried to sing and how it brought you down. Now we have complete control to change this. We can move it up or down. We can do whatever we want. We can even draw right over it and make it a straight edge line, and then you'll sound like Cher. Sometimes I have to do that. But for now, let's ding out some of the biggest things left that I may not want. So it allowed you to go sharp here. And I'm going to just draw that down a little bit like that. There. I'll leave the rest. I'm looking at the average. There's a tool here for grabbing the entire curve, which is nice, like that. So I can preserve the curve that's there. Again, the more you screw with that curve, the more auto-tuned it sounds. It's a good tool for learning to sing too. Like you can see, okay, Carl dips down here. He dips past the pitch and back up. This one isn't bad. I've heard worse. I've seen worse. I don't know if this will bother me yet because it's really well within the note, so we'll see. This one is too high. You overshoot. A lot of people overshoot. So you overshot. So I think I'm going to just on faith. Actually, no. Let's leave it, see what it's like. So let's listen to this now and see what we think of what it sounds like. Yeah, I like it now. So I would like I think I'm going to try it. I don't think we're going to hear any difference. So I'm going to bang out that overshoot of yours. Boom. Day still it sounds sharp, and it's because of this way overshoot right here. So I'm going to do and you kind of did it. You started going over here like this. Mark, what are the white blocks? Well, the white blocks or the yellow blocks are the actual pitch center. If you grab those and move them like that, then that happens. So it adjusts the I don't know, it grabs the whole thing and moves it, and it also affects what's next to it. So you see how this this green one over here ended up lower than it used to be? So I'm going to undo that because I like where this green one is I'm going to try to grab the whole line thing like that and bring that down a bit. Okay, so now I like how this block looks, but I'm going to fix this overshoot. And now let's get rid of this overshoot. I can't get rid of this little quiver down here. I can just bulldoze right over it, draw a straight line. But again, I always try to preserve as much as I can. Yep. So now it all depends on the human ear. Some singers are extremely in tune with their voice, and they will hear anything like those two straight edges. They'll be like, "Oh, I can hear the auto tune." Other people won't hear it. The average listener won't hear it. The average listener hasn't heard you sing, so they don't know what you sound like to begin with, and they won't know that this. What will make this sound more obvious to those to whom it's more obvious are the fact that it was so much of an adjustment. We didn't just pull it down a little bit; we pulled it down like from there to there, which is a lot, and you do tend to hear that. So the more you edit, the more you alter things, the more obvious it is. So best to learn to sing in tune. This one is sounding. This one here sounds overall a little sharp. I don't want to draw anything. I want to keep the overall event. It's more of the ear is perceiving the average pitch. So I grab the whole thing and drag it a little bit down like that. So it still sounds like you, but it's, more. I might do this one too because you start so sharp. Vree is jumping out a little bit. Every. But there's nothing really wrong with it, so I'm going to just leave it. Part of this, too, is you just have to leave it and walk away. You're going to listen to this mix over and over, and it's going to jump out at you like, oh, yeah, that syllable. And you're going to hear it because you get lulled into, like, the perfection of the track. There's still this bump here, but it's not bugging me. Yeah, your note's starting to quiver out there. It's turning into air. So it's not bothering me as much. And we're used to hearing singers do that, and it's quite fine. I do the minimum possible, obviously, and I use these kinds of tools that um, allow you to preserve the original. So as you probably know, I don't know if you knew this ahead of time, but it's not a real-time tuner. It locks in those adjustments for those notes at those times, and they're always like that. And you can see now, if I were to go and move one of those notes left or right, I would have to retune the note and redraw the line or whatever. So it's a lot of work. And when I'm tuning, I don't know if I'm going to be grabbing the pencil tool to draw, if I'm going to be moving the whole block, if I'm going to be moving just the wave, sliding up and down. It's going to be a lot of work and a lot of decisions to make. I'm going to forget what I did, and I'm not going to be able to remember just by looking at this. So do the time edits first, and then and then go do the tuning. Always. And save, and back up everywhere. Always have 2 copies of your project all the time. Okay, so let's do one more here. So your is early and fails is early. And you can see it. There's the 8th note where it's supposed to be for fails. The slashes are 16th notes. Depending how you zoom in. If you zoom out, you're only going to see 8th notes. So that's fails. And your 1 and 2 your. I don't mind it so much. Technically, that's the 8th note, and your is like a swell in sound. So you're swelling in and not even hitting the loud part of the note till well after the 8th note. So I heard it wrong. Love, there's the 8th note there. You have to also understand the notated version of your vocal to be able to even do this kind of thing. So if you don't know what notes you're supposed to be singing, you can't tune it. You can't fix harmonies. If you don't know the 8th note or 16th note rhythm of what you were trying to sing, you can't do this either. So yeah, I don't mind that. Nah, that's a little late. That's technically supposed to be. I think it's supposed to be there. Ver. Uh, there's an eighth note. There's another one. There's the one. So that is a little bit late. I'm going to lock this one in because I like where it is. This one's already locked in. And now I'm going to slide this back a little bit. Yep, that's better now. Let's check it solo to see if I mangled it. Yep, your is got a big mangle in it. You can hear it. Your love never fails. So that's okay. So now we got to fix. Let's lock this in and show you what I do with that kind of stuff. Your love never. So it's only in your. Your love. Love sounds okay. So I'm going to put a cut there. Now I've got this problem. It's because it's been squeezed. First, I'm going to try to unsqueeze it, reset the flex edits. Okay, so now it's clean, but I have this gap here now because I had actually stretched it out. So here's what we do with that. We can overlap them like that, and that gets rid of the Your love never fails. Perfect. Your love never fails. I can hear you getting sharper at the end of this note. Let's go tune that. Your love never. Your love. Now you tried to do bending from the 3 up to the 4, but you went to the 3, came back down to the flat 3, which is not a good note, and then back up. But this all happens very quickly. Does it sound cool? Your love never fails. Yeah, I don't mind it. Your love never fails. Yeah, you can see you want it to go sharp. You did go quite sharp. Oh, wait a minute. This one. Right at the end of the note, you went quite north, and it brought you down. But then this bump, it was like, I'm not going to adjust that one. I'm going to leave it where it is. And you had a trail off in pitch in your voice, and it kept it. And there's nothing wrong with that, trailing off at the end of a note. It's nice. Yeah, Trish Coulter would be, you got to support the note all the way to the end. Maybe. Does it bug me or not? I think this little bump up here bugs me. Let's check it. Your love never fails. Yeah, I do hear it, and it bugs me a little bit. So I'm going to, I'm just going to bang it out like this. And then start curving down. Always start curving. If you end up with straight angles here, like 90-degree angles, which you might end up with once you start moving blocks around. It's just the way it's going to work out. You're going to hear that Cher auto-tune sound. And that's what causes it, is sharp, sudden angles in the pitch change. So you want to make sure your lines are nice and drawn, nice and smooth and curved. If you have a straight angle, you have to bang it out, zoom right in. Like you can zoom in quite a bit. Zoom quite in and get rid of it. There's a jagged edge here. That could do it, but I think it goes by so fast, I don't think it's going to be an issue. Whoops. Let's check it out. Your love never fails. Yeah, I'm okay with that. So it's not always how it looks. It's what it sounds like. What kind of singer is Carl? What's his style? Do I allow some little things that... There, that one down. Your love never fails. Yeah, love to me sounds a little artificial. Your love never. But you could have sung that way too. I've seen stuff where people say, "Hey, that note sounds too auto-tuned," and there's no tuning on it, and I send it back. I mean, not even any. Okay, what I mean is like the tuner isn't even doing, like this tuner's doing correction on everything, so it's on all the time. If you want to take it off of a certain note, you just highlight the note and grab this ratio knob and kill it all the way down. So now it's going to let that note come through like you sang it. Look at it. It moved the green all the way up. Your love never. Yeah, so you didn't sing that note. You sang it way sharp on it. So now the tuner's off on that note completely. So this is and I've done this too. Like turn it off. Some guy just wrote me the other day about a mix, and he said, "Can you turn the tuner off on the choruses?" So I did, and I sent it back to him, and it sounds like Kaif because he didn't sing those notes. He held these really long notes, and he's out. The emotion's great, but you have to wrangle them down to control, or else they suck. they're impossible to listen to, and he was so off that you can hear the tuner working, and he didn't like it. So he said, "Yeah, take the tuner off," thinking it's still going to be in tune somehow, and it's not. So if you don't want it to sound tuned, sing in tune, or be very careful when you're tuning. I'm pretty confident in my ability to tune something and make it sound good but still natural. Your love never. So this sounds like nothing like you sang it, hence it sounds a little auto-tuned because it had to be corrected so much. The more you have to fix. So I'm going to turn this balance down. Let's do half and half and see if it helps. Your love never. So there's going to be a balance somewhere where it doesn't sound auto-tuned and but it's still listenable. Yeah, that to me is not listenable. Sorry. Yeah, I prefer that. Leave it hard tuned. All right, so that's it, and hope you enjoyed that.